The suburbs, many people call their home. In the suburbs, plants try to coincide with us. However, many look at them as garden pests and eradicate them before they get the chance to whisper their ancient knowledge to us. Suburbia is its own ecosystem. There are many creatures, insects, and plants that live right beside us. No matter how much pesticide people will spray, the plants continue to emerge on a yearly basis. Maybe it's time that we look deeper into the meaning of this cycle and start asking the questions of why are they here, and what do they have to teach us? As mentioned before, many people spray pesticides on their lawns and sidewalks. While it's great to go out and identify plants in your community, harvesting should be done with the most extreme caution. Know what areas in your neighborhood are safe. Even if you are almost positive that an area is safe, do not harvest unless you know with 100% certainty.
Greetings everybody and welcome to Powerful Plant Allies. My name is Jack. It is officially my favorite season, which is spring. The cherry blossoms are in full bloom, which is just amazing. I love cherry blossoms. And usually when we do these videos, we're in the heart of nature. But I wanted to throw a curveball in the structure of these videos to change things up a little bit. As you can see, we're in the middle of a neighborhood, the suburbs. Now, the suburbs, they're an ecosystem in itself. Here in the suburbs, plants are known as garden pests, and a lot of people like to eradicate them very quickly when they appear on their front lawns or within their gardens. But I wanted to make this video to bring awareness to the fact that these plants emerge every year, some in the same spots, some in different spots, pretty much all over the place, emerge on your front lawns, and without thinking twice about them, we just kill them and eradicate them. So again, I wanted to make this video to hopefully bring awareness and kind of get the wheels turning inside to help you and to inspire you to maybe look a little bit deeper into why these plants are growing in areas that are very close to your home. So without further ado, we're going to cover a handful of my favorite plants that are springtime plants, plants that I learned in the beginning of this journey, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to share it with you, okay? So let's get going. So we were walking along the neighborhood and there was one plant that caught our eye that everybody knows. It grows on everyone's front lawn, everyone's backyard, everyone's garden, you name it, even in the cracks in the sidewalk, and that is dandelion. Now this iconic plant is a perennial that grows in a basal rosette formation. Now what a basal rosette formation is, it's when the leaves and all of the foliage starts at the center of the plant and grows outward, almost in like a circular shape. The flowers contain an estimate of about 200 yellow florets. The dandelion leaves are deeply lobed and toothed. They are hairless and can grow lengths up to 1 foot in the proper growing conditions. These plants can reach about 18 inches tall. Now dandelions thrive on lawns, open fields, disturbed soil, which they love disturbed soil. Like I said, even the cracks in the sidewalk. Some of the most places that you would never expect a plant to grow, dandelion will grow. And a lot of the plants that we talk about today are going to be plants like that, where you wouldn't expect them to be in certain areas, but yet there they are. It's miraculous. Now we have the Palo Santo lit, and what we're gonna do for a couple minutes is just sit here with this beautiful stand-up dandelion and just offer up this sacred smoke in exchange for what they're about to offer, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dig up the plant and I'm gonna show you what's underneath the soil. Now, Dandelion is one of those plants that you can use pretty much every part of the plant. Every part of the plant is medicinal, but the most prized possession is what I'm about to show you right now. So we're gonna clean it off real quick. Take a look at those roots. The medicine chest of the plant, if you'd say. Now, a lot of plants grow from very fibrous, thin roots, but this has a sturdy taproot. Dandelion consists of a main, thick taproot that extends vertically into the soil with only a few small fibrous roots that stretch horizontally for moisture and nutrients. So now that you know how to successfully identify dandelion, we're going to talk about its medicinal benefits. Now, after I talk about the benefits, I'm going to have a little slide that has the cautions on them. For the time's sake of this video, I'm not going to read through the cautions. I'm just going to have them displayed on a screen really quickly. So please make sure that if you were thinking about merging or consuming dandelion, you make sure that you read those cautions, because as with any form of medicine, there is always cautions. So please be safe, okay? Here are the benefits.
Dandelion's leaves and flowers can be added to a salad, or they can be cooked in soups and stews. The flowers can also be pressed into juice. The roots are popularly known as a coffee supplement. The roots can also be used, with the leaves, to make a tisane, which is a tea or an infusion. The roots are excellent for the liver, kidney, spleen, and bladder detoxification process. It can also treat jaundice, eczema, and cirrhosis. Traditional Chinese medicine refers to it as pu gang yin. It is used to expel heat in the liver. The liver is our vibrational center for filtering through the flow of emotions. This means it is used to remove built-up emotions such as anger, guilt, sadness, or regret. Traditional Chinese medicine also uses it as a digestive and blood tonic. This plant contains a plethora of essential nutrients such as potassium, calcium, and vitamins A, C, and D. Now, you'll commonly find dandelion in a lot of alkalinity tea blends. The reason for this is because dandelion has a similar pH balance to the human body. Therefore, it can help to return the body to its proper homeostasis and balance the acid levels in the blood. Now take a pause and look at the cautions for using dandelion.
So in my neighborhood, there is this little patch between two houses that they didn't build anything, as you can see. And it is a huge patch of disturbed soil. And you know who loves disturbed soil? Plants do. So we're here and we're gonna take a look to see what we can find. So we're here in this beautiful disturbed soil patch and we're looking around and we found one of my favorite spring plants, one of the most gorgeous, but also one of the smallest, and that is blue violet. The flowers are a gorgeous shade of violet that grows on a leafless stalk. Each flower contains an inner white area that is hairy, filled with trichomes. The flowers for the plant bloom in early spring and will drop as soon as the temperatures get hot. The leaves are alternate and palmate. They are heart and kidney shaped. Violets can grow anywhere from 15 to 25 centimeters tall, and they thrive in well-draining soil. However, they do prefer moist and rich soils. You could find them growing in full sun or partial shade, on lawns, fields, open woodlands, and roadsides, even in the cracks of the sidewalk. You could see the size comparison between me and Violet, this beautiful small little plant. Now I love in the springtime when you're sitting outside on your front lawn and you could look and you just see little spots of purple around. It's almost psychedelic in appearance. Now, the edible parts of this plant are these beautiful flowers and these beautiful leaves. They also have medicinal benefits to them, and that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Violet leaves contain high levels of vitamins A and C. They are a great addition to salads or can be cooked. The flowers can be made into jellies and they can also be candied. Violet leaves contain mucilage or soluble fiber. This helps to lower cholesterol levels. Soluble fiber also helps to grow a healthy population of intestinal flora, as beneficial bacteria feed off of this type of fiber. The leaves contain rutin. Rutin is a glycoside of the flavonoid quercetin. Rutin studies have shown it to be an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and a blood thinner. It also strengthens the capillaries. A poultice created from the crushed roots can be applied to boils. A poultice from the leaves can be applied topically on cuts and scrapes. A delicious tea made from the flowers has been used to treat fevers, headaches, and insomnia. A tincture of the leaves and the flowers has been used to treat respiratory tract conditions, particularly sore throats, stuffy noses, coughs, and bronchitis. Please review over the cautions for blue violet.
Luckily, because we have this beautiful disturbed soil patch, we don't have to walk very far to find the next plant ally. This next plant is one of my spring favorites. I love meeting her every single year. She's beautiful, and her name is purple dead nettle. Look at how gorgeous she is. Purple dead nettle in all of her beauty. So we're going to talk about the identification features of this plant, how you know this is purple dead nettle, and then we're going to talk about the medicinal benefits. Now, this annual early spring plant is in the mint family, Lamiaceae. If the winters are not too cold, which we didn't have a cold winter this year, you can actually see this plant in full bloom in January, which opens up a really good opportunity for bees for winter forage. This plant can be distinguished by its four-sided square stem. The purple dead nettle is closely related to henbit, which is another early spring plant. Now, this plant has gorgeous, iconic purple flowers which bloom in late March, early April. The flowers bloom for about 6 weeks. Now, once the flower has run its course, it produces 4 little nutlet seeds which can be used to replant for additional growth. Last year, I had harvested a bunch of purple dead nettle, and I had dried it in a container, and when I had taken out all of the dried herb, there was a plethora of seeds just at the bottom of the container, and I still have some at home, actually, which I'm going to plant in the garden this year. The purple flowers are tubular, with the upper and lower lip ending at an incline towards each other. Bees adore the pollen and nectar from this flower. Now the leaves. The upper leaves of the plant are purple or red in color. They are triangular in shape and look almost like stinging nettle leaves. The leaves cluster around the stem's axis. Now, in the perfect growing conditions, this plant can grow up to 30 centimeters tall and can widen about 18 centimeters. You can commonly find this plant growing along roadsides, waste places, and like we are here in disturbed soil. Now, only the leaves of this beautiful plant are edible. We're going to talk about its culinary use as well as its medicinal use.
You can use the leaves after picking or dry them out to use as a tea. The tea can be used to cure the chills, promote perspiration and urination. Fresh and bruised leaves can be applied topically to external cuts and wounds. You can also create a poultice to use for the same purpose, just like yarrow and plantain. The leaf shoots are commonly used in salads. The plant is abundant in vitamin C, iron, and fiber. The seeds are jam-packed with antioxidants. The vitamin C and flavonoids in the plant work together to strengthen your immune system. The plant is famously known for reducing allergy symptoms. This is due to the antifungal and antibacterial compounds found within it. Purple or red dead nettle can also help to protect allergy sufferers from secondary infections of the throat and the lungs. Take a look at what you should be aware of if you decide to use purple dead nettle.
So in my neighborhood, we have a little forest offshoot. You can see we got some beautiful garlic mustard growing here, which is, this is all second-year garlic mustard, one of my favorite plants. If you haven't checked out the garlic mustard video, I'll have a link in the bio below. But there is one plant in particular that is a spring plant that in a couple of weeks is probably going to disappear that I'm looking for. So let's head over here and let's see if we can find it. Take a look at this patch right here. Now, if you don't know what this plant is, you may be thinking, Jack, why are you showing us a little patch of grass? And this is my favorite plant on my local Long Island tours to show everybody. And that's because, like I said, it looks like a patch of grass. However, when you dig it up, we're gonna see what it actually is. Let it reveal itself. Just loosen up the soil around it. Now you want to make sure you get as deep with the shovel as you can, because you don't want to rip up the goods that are underneath it. Take a look at that. This, ladies and gentlemen, is field garlic. Now, this plant has long and narrow leaves that grows in bunches and clusters. These leaves can range anywhere from 1 to 3 feet long. Now, from a distance, this plant resembles a patch of overgrown grass, which I used to think that it was when I was younger. But when you take one of the leaves and you rip it, you will notice that it is hollow and tubular. They closely resemble chives. And when you dig around the plant and pull up the roots, you will find small bulbs that's attached to it. Now, one thing you may not know is that bulbs are actually modified leaves, underground leaves for a plant. Now, this plant, you can basically find it everywhere. Lawns, open fields, meadows, woodlands like we're in right now, and again, the cracks in the sidewalk. Right here, about 100 feet from my house, this beautiful, beautiful herb and vegetable is growing for your use. Now you can see the bulbs on this field garlic. They're not as big as the garlic bulbs that you'll find in the supermarket. I love to actually cut these up, clean them up, and throw them in like soups and stews, or you can cut them up breakfast in the morning. If you're making eggs, you can mix them within it. Really good stuff. One of my truly favorites. I mean, everything we've seen today is my favorite, but this is a total iconic plant that I just love seeing all year round. Now, in the late fall, this plant emerges and it stays pretty much throughout the winter. Sometimes if you're walking through the woods and you see little green patches coming up from the snow, it most likely is field garlic. I remember the first time that Zach and I had discovered this plant. We were at Avalon, which is over in Setauket, and we were seeing all these little patches of green, and we were like, oh, I wonder what that is. I guess maybe springtime is coming, or if it's just grass, maybe it's just grass. And we went up to it, and I had just gotten my first foraging book, and I was like, I wonder if this is field garlic. And I tore one of the leaves off, smelt it, smelled like chives, and I was like, no freaking way. So we were sitting there, digging our bare hands through the freezing cold, pulling up the plants and going home with them and making a delicious stew out of them.
By eating the fresh and raw bulb of field garlic, it can help to reduce blood pressure and shortness of breath. The juice of this plant can be rubbed topically on any exposed part of the body to repel insects from biting you. The entire plant is a blood purifier, diuretic, vasodilator, anti-asthmatic, and cathartic. A tincture made from the entire plant can be used to prevent worms and colic. It is also a wonderful remedy for croup. The plant contains sulfur compounds which can act as a tonic for the digestive system and as a tonic for the circulatory system. You can use this plant in replacement to your traditional garlic that you would buy at the supermarket. A tea made from field garlic is antibacterial and antifungal, making it great for things such as yeast infections or urinary tract infections. Like traditional garlic, field garlic can help to balance out your gut bacteria. Now please take a look at the cautions for field garlic.
So we're finally back from our trek around the neighborhood, and now we are in my own backyard. And I'm excited to introduce to you our next plant ally, hairy bittercress. Take a look at how gorgeous she is. Now, hairy bittercress is one of my favorite salad herbs. I love to mix it with some garlic mustard. Now, hairy bittercress resembles other cresses like watercress, and you can take a close look and see that the leaves and the foliage grow in a basal rosette formation. And like I said in the beginning of the video, a basal rosette formation is when all of the plant's foliage grows from the center outwards in a circular arrangement. It usually has many stems. The stems are erect. The seed pods grow along the upper parts of the stem. They're located right above the leaves, but below the flower. The flowers are very tiny. They're about 2.5 to 5 millimeters long. They have 4 white petals, and the flowers grow in small groups at the top of the erect stem. The sepals measure 1.5 to 3 millimeters long. There are usually 4 to 6 stamens within them, and the flowers bloom from late April through June. Now, the leaves along the stem grow in an alternate fashion. The leaves are circular and are lobed in shape. They are pinnate, and the stalk is slightly hairy. Hairy bittercress grows no more than 12 inches tall. You can find hairy bittercress thriving in woodlands, forest margins, rocky outcrops, and as a garden weed. Now, as with most plants that you're looking to harvest, unless you are harvesting the flowers, if you're only looking for the leaves, you want to make sure that you harvest the leaves before the plant starts going into its flowering process. And the reason for that is because once the flowers start to sprout, that plant is putting all of its energies into producing the flowers as well as the seeds. So, therefore, a lot of the nutrients and energy from within the leaves and the foliage is then getting shot up right into the flowers. So for this plant, if you're looking to harvest the leaves, I would probably do it late winter right before the flowering process begins.
This delicious plant has tender leaves that contain a plethora of vitamin C, magnesium, calcium, and a bunch of antioxidants. The plant has sulfur-containing compounds that strengthens your immune system and helps in preventing cancer. The leaves are a great early spring addition to your wild harvested salads, pestos, and salsas. Take a look at the cautions for using hairy bittercress.
Well, through the course of this video, we've journeyed around my neighborhood, and now we're here in my backyard. We've met some amazing plant allies, some that you may have known about, some you may have just met through this video, and it's my honor to introduce you to the last plant ally of the video, chickweed. Chickweed is a low-growing plant whose leaves form in an opposite fashion along the stem. The flowers are small and white, and they branch off into small clusters of stalks that are about ½ an inch long. The stalks are covered with small trichomes, which are hairs, and each flower contains 5 petals that have a split running down the middle. The flowers are about 1 centimeter across, with stamens that are yellow and greenish in color. They have 5 sepals and have hairs that spread on its surface. The leaves are opposite and toothless and can vary in shape. The youngest foliage is egg-shaped, and the upper leaves develop more of an elongated shape. Chickweed usually will grow 6 to 18 inches tall and will spread across the ground floor. When spreading, the stems will root at the nodes. The stems, the leaves, and the flowers are all edible. So without further ado, let's talk about the uses of chickweed.
Chickweed is widely used as a remedy for arthritis, menstrual cramps, and other inflammatory ailments. It has a super high fiber content. This aids in digestive health and its ability to strengthen the absorption of nutrients into the body. Chickweed contains high amounts of vitamins C, B6, B12, beta-carotene, rutin, and choline. There is also a plethora of the minerals magnesium, iron, calcium, potassium, copper, silicone, sodium, and phosphorus. A salve made from chickweed is great because its cooling effect has a long history of treating skin ailments such as acne, eczema, burns, cuts, scrapes, and insect bites. Adding yarrow and calendula to this recipe will create a lovely healing concoction. Chickweed also acts as a mild diuretic. This helps to flush and clean out the kidneys. It also helps to strengthen the bowels. A tincture can be made and used topically for astringent purposes to draw out splinters. Chickweed tincture is also good internally for upset stomachs, asthma, and lung congestion. Now take a moment to look over the cautions for chickweed. Your neighborhood is home to many different life forms. Some grazing among us, and some growing beneath our feet. To connect with the earth does not mean that you have to isolate yourself in the middle of the forest. Instead, just a simple walk outside of your home can reveal many of the earth's secrets to you. Nature is everywhere. It wants to coincide with us. It's a part of us. We are nature. With what you learned through this video today, I ask that this knowledge is treated with the utmost respect. As with any form of medicine, plants can have serious side effects with many pharmaceutical medications or physical health conditions. It is important to still consult with your doctor or physician, as well as a licensed professional who can help you to determine if working with these plants is right for you. As always, do your own research and be safe. Plants are conscious beings waiting to work with you. If you open yourself up to listening closely, they will reveal many of their secrets to you. All you have to do is open up your heart, and you will see the true beauty that Mother Earth has to offer. Happy Earth Day. Share your love with the world.